The views expressed on the Warren and Bradley Show are not necessarily those held by the hosts, Warren and Bradley, nor those of the proprietors of the website, warrenandbradley.com.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1, fire!
Let's make some magic.
Hello, it is magic time. Welcome once again to the Warren and Bradley Show. I'm one of your hosts, Bradley Victor.
I'm the other host, Warren Van.
It's currently 65 degrees and cloudy in Bellingham, Washington.
Is that true?
Yeah, I just looked at the weather.
It is cloudy, I know, and it's refreshingly cool, actually.
I'm refreshed by the coolness because this week it's been so fucking hell hot, and I have to work outside, and I've sweated probably like 20 pounds of weight off of me. Well, probably not. I wouldn't exist if I had sweated that much weight off. But so I was looking forward to a little cool down, but not on the weekends when I want to go swimming.
Yeah.
It's my whole
raison d'etre?
Yes, thank you very much.
No problem.
Fucking pretentious asshole. Because I haven't had a car lately, and I finally got a vehicle again now. I'm like, all right, now I'm going to go to the lake. I'm going to hang out, get my amphibian boy plans off the ground, which were dashed a few weeks ago. And now, of course, as soon as I have a vehicle, the weather turns to shit. But weather cloudy, 65 degrees.
I mean, it's nice. I find it I'm feeling good. I slept longer this morning than I have been recently because the heat,
by the sun.
The sun beats down on me, and also I have a hard time sleeping when it's so hot.
Oh, yeah, because you live in that weird greenhouse, basically.
My bedroom is sort of attached. It's like a shack to the side of the house, so it's not insulated or anything. It just has a bunch of windows, so it gets extremely cold during the winter and extremely hot during the summer. So it can be a little bit of a problem because it starts getting really hot really early as soon as the sun comes up.
It's one thing that LA taught me is that heat is the absolute worst when you're trying to sleep, because you'll have trouble falling asleep because you're all sweaty and gross, but then once you do fall asleep, it's like you're in a coma, some weird heat coma, and you can't wake up. You're just all groggy and fucked up.
Your sleep isn't that deep usually. No. Yeah.
I've been in a little better mood lately because I now have a vehicle again.
You do.
The disposition has turned a little sunny as the weather's turned gray. There's been all these interactions, and it's interesting to see how my demeanor has changed and the way I deal with things as opposed to when I'm in a bad mood. For instance, yesterday I had 2 separate social interactions, and it kind of highlights how I don't behave normally, perhaps, compared to other people.
Yeah.
Because I ran into this one guy who I vehemently dislike.
Oh.
And there are not a lot of people who I really dislike. And I won't say I hate anybody. I don't think I'll ever go that far.
Yeah.
But it's just this fucking dick. And there was all this history in the past of bullshit that he pulled and everything. And he's just kind of the sleazy, weaselly little fucker. And I won't mention any names. But we had a falling out where he did something that I did not approve of several years ago, and I called him on it. And so I saw him yesterday, and he was walking towards me, and he sort of went, "Oh," when he saw me, and I just looked at him, and he came up and tried to give me this, hey, what's going on? Hey, it's been a long time. No, don't bother. He's like, what? What do you mean? It's like, I thought I explained to you perfectly well that I want nothing to do with you. Why should I pretend to be cool with you when I'm not? Why should I subject myself to this ridiculous, inane, fake social interaction with you? Just go away. Yeah. I don't need to talk to you. And he, of course, was just like nonplussed. And I went, do and walked on my way.
He seemed to just blow over eventually, maybe.
Yeah, it's not like I'm holding a grudge, but why bother pretending?
Yeah.
You know? I'm just sick of that.
Doesn't serve any purpose.
And I wasn't angry at him.
No.
I just explained to him the way it is. I was perfectly fine with it. And yeah, I was in a fine mood, and I wandered off. And then a little bit later, I was in the bagelry again. And I ran into this girl who very attractive, and I went out with her once, and it was that thing we discussed before, I think, in one of our That's How Women Are segments, where, you know, the whole like, hey, this is great, we're having a great time, yeah. And then you're like, all right, well, let's hang out again. They're like, oh yes, of course. And then even like make plans sort of to hang out again, and then of course you do the whole, hey, so let's do that thing we mentioned, and then they never call you back or respond to the messages. And so, of course, in her mind, that was probably this horribly awkward thing.
She felt like she was going to be treated the way you treated the other guy, probably.
Maybe.
Yeah.
So she probably ascribed to me a certain amount of embarrassment and of course, like, I would have probably liked to see her again, but it's not the end of the world kind of thing. And if someone behaves in that way, my response, which again, I don't think is normal, is to be overly friendly and gregarious.
Yes.
And maybe it's in a kind of spiteful way. I'm not sure exactly.
Yeah. You're just trying to compensate for it.
Yeah, but it's almost like I'm trying to rub their nose in it or something without even knowing it.
The other thing is you're taking all the power away from them because they think they've done something to you and they think you should feel bad about it.
Right.
Like, you didn't do anything to me.
Right.
I'm fine. Brad's fine.
I'm not really. But no, I ran into her and she kind of saw me and again, like, gave me that look. Like, oh no, what's going to happen? Is it going to be awkward? And I was just like, hey, how's it going? Oh yeah, this weather. And like talking and just completely being way more charming than I normally am.
Yeah.
And she was just completely confused and nonplussed. It's like, hey, you take care. And then I went and got my bagel. When I'm in a good mood, I'm able to manipulate social interactions way better than I'm not completely held captive by my own angst all the time, you know? Yeah, so I think I'm capable of using social interactions as almost a sort of anthropological study to just see how people react to certain things, and I'm not affected by it in any way. It's kind of cool.
You're a little bit more detached.
Yeah.
Yeah, not so angry.
Detached is good.
Yeah.
I was also pissed off today because I tried to go to the grocery store, and I keep forgetting this bullshit. In Bellingham, we have passed a plastic bag ban.
Yes.
In Bellingham, because I don't know why. I don't know why a city government can force businesses not to provide something for customers. How does that have anything to do with government?
Saving the earth.
How can you tell private businesses you can't give people plastic bags? It's ridiculous.
The earth is going to be saved now.
Yes, of course. All these baby seals who are choking on plastic bags and turtles who are swallowing them.
No, I think it's the fact that they're using petroleum to make them, right? Isn't that what makes people angry?
I don't know. I thought it was more about
because they're floating around
otters
everywhere,
getting trapped inside them
animals?
or something. I don't know. But I used to use all my plastic bags. See, when I go to the store, I get 8 bags worth of shit, and I'm the kind of person who, when I put my groceries in my car, I come home, I will not make trips. It's one or none. And so I hang all the plastic bags off my fingers, cut off all the circulation.
Painfully cutting off circulation to the tips of your fingers.
But I get them all in one trip. I come up. I go in there today, and of course I didn't bring any of my little reusable bags, because who the fuck is like, oh yes, my reusable bags, I'm going to go to the grocery store. I went there, I was like, oh, there aren't any bags. Fuck this, I forgot it. And then they had these paper bags. I'm like, all right. And I start putting all my shit in the paper bags. Then at the little self-checkout thing, it's like, how many paper bags would you like to purchase? I was like, purchase paper bags.
Yeah, that's right.
So I had to get several. I only had 3 bags, and I had so much trouble just carrying them out to my car.
Yeah.
And these are the kind of stupid little quality of life things that government fucks with, and it's a huge deal. We won't even get into the faulty science and how plastic bags or banning plastic bags does anything to help anybody, because now I'm actually buying plastic bags to use as garbage liners and things. I use plastic bags. I would reuse the grocery plastic bags for all sorts of shit. Now I have to buy plastic bags instead of just getting them for free.
Well, I think, usually when I got all those plastic bags, they went to some use eventually. I didn't just throw them away.
Yeah, they went in the cupboard. I would use them. I clean out my gerbils cage with them. I put them in the bathroom waste basket.
Yeah.
Use them to package things if I'm ever sending anything that's delicate.
Yeah, I mean, those bags always got used.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're always picking up dog shit with those
reuse,
bags.
Recycle. Yeah, and what about people picking up their dog shit? Now they're going to have to buy dog shit bags. So it's actually worse because you're producing more bags. I don't know.
Well, people are still going to use bags. Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
But the whole point was so you get some cloth bag and always have it with you, right?
Yeah, and of course I'm gonna strap those to my thigh or something and have them. I don't know.
Well, I've noticed I went just on the spur of the moment to the grocery store last week or the week before, and I bought something, and they charged me, and then they were like, "Oh, did you not have a bag with you?" And I was like, "No, I didn't show up at the grocery store with a bag." They're like. And she was really worried because the transaction had been completed, so she couldn't charge me 5 cents for the bag.
Right.
So she's like, and she found the smaller bag. She's like, I can give you this bag.
Oh, so wait a minute. So you took one of the cloth ones, and she didn't charge you for the cloth one?
No, I didn't have any bags.
Oh.
And she rung up my order and then put them on the side and was like, where's your bag? And I was like, I don't have a bag.
Okay.
And then she was very worried because I didn't know if we were going to have to do another credit card transaction for 5 cents for a paper bag. So she put in this little tiny bag that was like something you put a liquor bottle in or something, and then gave it to me, and it was really awkward. And I was walking around with it with 2 hands. Yeah, it's annoying.
It's balancing the supposed benefits against the obnoxious bullshit. Is it worth it? I don't think so. And it makes people feel good, I guess, but fuck all that shit.
Madness.
It's all masturbation. It's ridiculous.
But it makes people feel better.
Yeah, fuck
That's
that.
what we're here for.
They wander the streets, scavenging for loose change and discarded cigarette butts.
Spare $1.
And give me a motherfucking cigarette.
Ran out of gas ways back. I got any meth?
You smoke weed, don't you?
God, who's in my car?
I could use some change.
They may be mentally unstable and deserving of our charity, but that doesn't mean they can't be selected as the Warren and Bradley Show Street Freak of the Week.
Street Freak of the Week, take 2.
We just had some technical problems. We did a Street Freak of the Week segment. So now we're going to try to recreate the excellent segment we just recorded.
We were
didn't
blathering
record.
on for a good 10, 15 minutes.
And then turn and face the computer screen and notice that nothing had recorded.
we need an engineer.
Oh,
Okay.
a lot of despair here in this room.
Here goes. As I said previously, and which you will not hear because it did not record.
I'm the only one that will know what
Yes.
you said. Yeah.
I did not have an actual, larger-than-life street freak personality this week. There were just several little interactions. Warren, there are just several little interactions that maybe taken together can equal one street freak. Maybe not. But it was mostly just, there were some aggressive homeless people who were trying to beg things from me and just not going about it in a very good way. I was walking up to meet you at the bar last night, and there was a homeless man sitting in an alcove wearing a maternity dress, or kind of like one of those shirt dresses.
Yeah.
And it said baby on board across his belly. And he was rotund, and so I was I was figuring out, was he wearing this because it fit over his distended belly, or was he just accidentally wearing it?
Well, do you think his belly was so distended that, a normal shirt would have been awkward for him to wear?
It probably would have ridden up quite a bit, because this one actually has, the darting on the side to fit the belly in there properly, nice and snug. I don't know, it fit him well, other than the boob part. He did have tits, but they didn't quite fill it out.
But, he was comfortable because it covered his belly, but it gave him enough space to move.
Yeah.
No, I would go with it.
It's like men who should wear bras. Why not? Why not just get a bra?
I imagine, it must be does it hurt to have your man
I would
boobs
be flapping around, all
dangling
over the
around
place.
and stuff? Probably get a rash underneath.
I was thinking of getting a jock strap the other day.
Really?
Because when I'm working, my God, it's wanging around all over the place. It's really irritating.
We should do it.
Yeah, maybe I will.
Yeah, why not?
Yeah.
I mean, if it's making you uncomfortable,
It is. Yeah, it's always in the way.
It's always in the way, and it's probably going to, if something happens, it'll probably protect you in a little bit,
caught
too.
in something.
It'll keep you safe.
So anyway, I was just walking by the maternity dress guy and did not look at him.
Yeah.
Did not acknowledge him in any way. And maybe this is why it made him angry. But I walked by and he went, "Hey, don't judge me because I'm sitting here." Oh, not judging you. Just walking by. Wasn't even looking at you. And then proceeded to ask me for money and cigarettes.
Not the way you're supposed to do
After
things.
being very confrontational and for no reason. So, of course, I didn't give him any, and he just screamed at me as I was walking away. Then I came across another little group who were sitting on a bench, and one of the guys tried to do "Hey, what's going on?" I'm like, "Hey, how you doing?" "Hey, can I have one of those cigarettes?" I'm like, "Sorry, man." "Sorry for what? You won't give me a fucking cigarette?"
Yes.
Yes,
That's what I'm sorry
That's
for.
what I'm sorry about. And just started walking away. And again, he started screaming things after me on the street. And it's always that kind of thing where I don't like them getting the last word, but
Jeez.
it's not as though I'm going to be able to come to any sort of conclusion
No.
with them. So I might as well just let them scream things at my back. But it's annoying. I shouldn't care at all, but all his little buddies were like, as he was yelling, slander
So you're feeling like
towards
peer
me.
pressure at this point.
It's almost like I need to look good in their eyes
No, you don't.
compared
You don't.
to their little friend.
This is your issue with all these
Yeah,
homeless people.
it's ridiculous.
It doesn't matter what they think.
It doesn't. No.
You're, in a sense, supposed to be an adult about things like that,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
And if they're acting petty, you're not supposed to, go down to their level
Yeah, well,
and
it's-
respond.
I shouldn't care, and I don't really care, but it's the kind of thing where if some douchebag at a bar is like, "Hey, fuck you, motherfucker," and they start trying to fuck with you, and I almost feel like even though it shouldn't matter at all because they're a dick and a dipshit, I still don't want them to think that they got one over on me kind of thing.
Oh, I think
they
you
didn't
should-
intimidate me.
We should probably let that one go, too, but that's different in the sense that,
They're part of the same culture as me or
Well,
something.
they're not mentally ill.
Yeah.
For one thing.
Maybe.
Right? Well, I mean, in a certain sense, they probably are. But I mean, it's not like they're like completely crazy. So it's like to go back and try to reason with the crazy person or like, rectify the situation with the crazy person. Where are you going to get yourself? Nowhere. You're just bringing yourself down to the crazy person's level of craziness.
Yeah, I just let it go.
But I think I had an interaction with this homeless man right after you walked past him.
Yes, you mentioned this last night, yeah.
Because I was walking past him and he goes, "Hey, you got any money?" And I was like, "Sorry, man, I don't have any money." And he goes, "How about $1 million?" And I was like, "Sorry." And he's like, $500,000? And I was like, "Ooh." And he goes, "I'll split it with you."
Wow.
And I turn around and I go, "You're going to split my own money with me?" And he goes, "Ha ha ha." And he's like, "You have a good night." And I was like, "You have a good night too." And I just walked right along.
Wow. So why was he so friendly with you?
I don't know. But I don't ever have these interactions with the homeless people you do, you know?
What were you wearing last night?
Probably the same clothes I'm wearing right now.
Yeah. You cut your hair and shave though, so you don't look as homeless as you used to.
No. You didn't think I was a homeless person?
I don't know. Maybe you did.
I'm a larger person than you.
Yeah.
That probably has some ramifications. And maybe I have less of a like vibe with them, you know? Because you're like amongst them all the time. You have this weird thing going on. I don't have any energy with them.
And then I had another guy. The one positive homeless interaction I had was when I was at my local convenience store. And there was a guy in front of me buying a big 40-ounce can of some sort of malt liquor or something.
Yeah.
And he was trying to hoist it up onto the counter and was like, "Ugh," like his shoulder hurt. And he looked back at me and gave me shook his head.
You know how it is with lifting large things of alcohol.
Oh, yeah. So he had some sort of repetitive stress injury, maybe arthritis or something from lifting these 40-ounce cans to his lip and sucking them down all the time. And so because we had that positive interaction, in his eyes anyway, he was waiting for me as I came out and started engaging me in conversation, just explaining all the other ailments that he was experiencing.
Sure.
He had like some knee problem where he's kind of limping around. He showed me this weird lump on his head that was kind of like oozing some sort of fluid.
That's terrible.
And then I felt like in order to keep up with the conversation, I had to start inventing ailments that I had.
Of course you have to, because you don't want to look bad in his eyes.
No, not at all. And so, I had bad back, and I told him how I had once had my shoulder out of joint before, and so I pretended that it still hurt and was still giving me trouble, especially in the cold weather.
Now you're pretending.
Yeah, I know. Well, what does he know? But it was good because there was some sort of like peer kind of thing going on there. Like, we're both. He's like,
two humans.
I'm not 20 anymore.
No, you're certainly not.
I hear that. Yeah, I don't know.
Neither are you.
No. Well, barely.
Well, I'm glad you had this bonding experience. But as far as the street food of the week, I'm going to go with the maternity clothes.
Maternity clothes guy.
Yeah.
And I apologize again for not having anyone particularly insane and crazy. I mean, they were all crazy, but there was nobody that was just like...
Nobody that went over the top.
A flashing meteor of homelessness. But, we'll give it to the maternity guy. Maybe I'll have more interactions with him. So, congratulations, Mr. Maternity Clothes Wearing Homeless Man. You've been selected as the Warren and Bradley Show Street Freak of the Week.
Congratulations, my friend.
Our hats are off to you, Mr. Homeless Man, because you've been selected as the Warren and Bradley Show Street Freak of the Week.
And we're back on the Warren and Bradley Show. It's 3:29 p.m. on a Sunday afternoon.
Is it really?
Yes, it is.
Okay,
currently
good.
still 66 degrees out there. I have a couple announcements before we get into the Celebrity Minute segment of our show. We have a few new places for you to actually access and download and listen to the show.
It's such a problem to get the show.
Well, it's actually pretty easy. But if you have a Windows phone or you use the Zune Marketplace, we are now available in the Zune Podcast Directory.
So if you're one of the 5 people who has one of those.
Well, the Zune Marketplace is also for all the Windows phones, Windows Phone 7, Windows Phone 8, which is coming out as well. And also the Xbox Live Marketplace uses Zune video and audio stuff. So it's not just the old
if you have a Zune too.
player. Well, nobody has one of those.
Oh, yeah. I believe fan of the show, Caitlin, has one of those.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, a classic. Looks like a big old box.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And also, if you have a BlackBerry phone... We're available on the Blackberry Podcast Directory now. And then...
And if you have a tape player, we'll send you a cassette.
Yes.
Because all the obsolete or technology or things that are going to be obsolete very soon, we're getting on all those things.
I don't think there's any physical way for me to actually make a tape of this show. I don't have a tape player.
Well, you just have to get tape recorder and play it into the microphone.
We'll start releasing limited edition records as well if you guys want to hear it on vinyl. But our other partner now is Stitcher.
Oh yeah,
Stitcher Smart Radio. Now, Warren, I know you're on the go a lot. I know you like to have your entertainment right at your fingertips at all times. Have you used the Stitcher app?
Yeah, I think I had it once.
Oh, yeah?
Briefly.
But you got rid of it because you hated it?
I just don't think I had any use for it. But that's because it's like you can play radio, like stream things over your phone, right?
Right.
And I don't have a phone, so...
Oh, that's right. Okay, so you don't
Yeah.
actually have a data connection to get it.
No, but if I was in a Wi-Fi area and I had my Stitcher going, I could, like, listen to it.
Okay, and if you weren't a Neanderthal like Warren and actually had a phone, you could get the Stitcher app, and you can stream radio shows, you can stream podcasts, you can make your own channels with your favorite shows. If you have a podcast you like, it'll actually always have the latest episode. It'll pick up right where you left off whenever you want to listen. You can now hear our shows while on the go with Stitcher Smart Radio. On-demand news, talk, and more on your mobile phone. The latest episode is always available for you, no syncing needed, and no memory or storage wasted. Available on your iPhone, iPad, Android phone, and beyond. Downloading is easy. Go to Stitcher.com or check out your app store.
Yeah, bless me.
Thank you for that, Warren. Stitcher Smart Radio, the smarter way to listen to radio.
And if you have a reel-to-reel player, we can maybe get one of those set up for you too. I can mail you a giant box with 2 reels, and you can listen on there.
Morse code, telegraph. We're trying to saturate every
We
market
could train
possible.
some subordinates to take the show on the road and do it at theaters in the smaller
I would
towns
love
in the
to
Midwest.
see a actual live performance of some of our best
Just
episodes.
there's a script, and then people recreate the show.
Yeah.
That would be fantastic.
So now let's get into Celebrity Minute on the Warren and Bradley Show. Celebrity Minute on the Warren and Bradley Show. All right, then our first story is an update on the Robert Pattinson, Kristen Stewart debacle. Debacle. Robert Pattinson is starting to make appearances now to promote the newest Twilight film, and so several people have asked him about the Kristen Stewart situation and have been urging him to kick her to the curb. In fact, Jon Stewart actually said, quote, that he should kick her to the curb.
To him? To his face?
Yeah, when he was on the show.
This is awkward, isn't it?
Yeah.
To actually have an actual relationship and then go on Jon Stewart's show and have him give you advice about it?
Your friends are supposed to do that. They're supposed to be like, yeah, you should get rid of that bitch. But Jon Stewart is doing it.
Well, it's even hard for your friends to do that, really, because you're in that situation where you're sort of like, ugh. But to have, journalists saying this to you is weird.
According to Us Weekly, his friends Sienna Miller and Tom Sturridge have been begging Rob to end it for good. They think she will hurt him again.
Just like Reese Witherspoon. Good for him.
But he was also on Good Morning America, and George Stephanopoulos was hinting around that he should dump her. It's like getting all this relationship advice from talk show hosts. It's kind of amusing.
Stephanopoulos.
Yeah.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah. Now.
Oh, she's back.
Oh, yeah. Our one-woman demolition derby, Amanda Bynes, is being investigated for another traffic accident. How many is this now?
It's got to be at least
several,
3, right?
Several drunk driving things, several fender bender collisions. On this one, Los Angeles police are investigating a minor traffic accident involving actress Amanda Bynes after a person reported the actress left without providing her information. Lieutenant Andy Neiman said Sunday the 26-year-old actress stopped after the accident and looked at the other vehicle and determined there wasn't any damage.
Oh, she's an expert.
And then she drove away. No one was injured, and the damage to the other person's vehicle actually was more than $800. I don't know why she still has a driver's license.
Yeah, it seems like that should be taken away at some point. And then we can start getting the situation where she's driving a suspended license, she gets in more trouble, and then it starts spiraling out of control, eventually she's in prison. So we'll look forward to that.
Well, that's what we had determined was going to happen last time we talked about her.
Yeah, she's on her way.
Yeah, she's always drunk, she's always hitting things. She's going to run over a person at some point.
Oh, God. Remember when that, publicist woman years ago did that and ran over someone in her SUV?
No.
Oh, yeah, it was this whole controversy. And she had just disdain for normal people and just rode right over in her car like she didn't care.
Well, I think we've established that most celebrities have a disdain for normal people.
And why wouldn't you? They make crappy movies and people go watch them.
Speaking of which, Lady Gaga's bodyguard kicked a guy to the curb. This is an interesting video. We'll put this online on our website.
No, I haven't seen this yet, so this will be interesting because I will now determine if the bodyguard was in the right.
Okay, Warren, you be the arbiter of this.
All right.
It was as Lady Gaga was departing her hotel in Bucharest, Romania. A fan who was very eager to get an autograph approached her, and this is what happened. We'll play it here. You won't be able to see it, obviously, but go to our website, warrenandbradley.com, and check it out. That's not Gaga.
No, that's not. I was wondering who that was. Oh, yeah, that's quite the outfit. Yeah, I'm not keeping it low profile.
So we see...
You know what? That's what a bodyguard's supposed to do.
Yeah, to set the stage for people, if you don't have access to the interwebs, I don't know how you're listening to this show, but if you
On
can't...
tape.
Yeah, I guess. Oh, yeah, I forgot about that. If you can't watch the video or you don't have it in front of you right now, Gaga is leaving a hotel. There's a bunch of paparazzi and fans waiting outside, and one eager, middle-aged autograph hound, fat dude,
a man,
rushes at her very aggressively. He's obviously holding out a notepad and a pen, but... he rushes at her in a really aggressive manner, and of course the bodyguards just reacted and threw him down to the ground. She kind of went, "Oh!" But yeah, you can't do that,
especially if you're in Romania.
Yeah,
they have to protect her. That's what those guys are employed to do.
Right.
You can't just go charging at somebody with something in your hand. He doesn't know what it is.
It could have had a little like cyanide capsule.
It could have had a cyanide capsule. It could have been a pen knife
somewhere.
It could have been anything. Yeah. So the bodyguard stopped the guy, put him down. The guy is fine. He didn't like break any bones. It didn't look like. So, I mean, that's what happens. Do not charge at celebrities.
So, Warren and Bradley's judgment?
Bodyguard is excellent. And when we become big stars, we're going to bring him in.
We're going to hire him
for us.
All right. Next story.
Shia LaBeouf to film real sex scenes in new movie, The Nymphomaniac.
Oh, my God. I don't know about you, Warren, but I am sick to death of this person. I have no idea why he is a star.
So he's in a movie about a nymphomaniac? Because I saw something on the internet, just like a little headline that said something about Shia LaBeouf as a nymphomaniac. And it was...
I think he is.
Oh, he is?
Life.
Okay.
Yeah.
But it was of so little interest to me that I just didn't even bother to click on it.
Well, this is going to be a new film by Lars von Trier.
Oh, Jesus.
Yes.
Talk about putting two people who probably think they have a lot of talent, who don't have any.
Yes. In a quote from LaBeouf on MTV News, he says, "The movie is exactly what you think it is. For instance, there's a disclaimer at the top of the script that basically says we're doing it for real. Everything that is illegal will shoot in blurred images. Other than that, everything is happening." Added the former Disney Channel star of his willingness to do the controversial role, "Von Trier is very dangerous. He's the most dangerous dude that I've ever shown up for there, LaBeouf. I'm terrified. I'm so terrified, which is why I have to go. We'll see what happens." So apparently he's going to be having actual sex in the film. They're not going to show Mr. Penis entering Miss Vagina, I don't think.
This is an age-old technique of Lars von Trier to actually just do something shocking.
Yeah, drum up a lot of controversy.
And then people will have to go to see the movie and not actually make a movie that's any good. Good for him.
He did the 2011 drama Melancholia with Alexander Skarsgård and Kirsten Dunst, which I have not seen. I heard it was not good. Anyway,
never good.
They both need to go away. Shia LaBeouf, go away. Von Trier, go away. And I'll be much more happy. Oh. Rihanna gave an interview recently to Oprah on her own network where she gets a little emotional about the Chris Brown situation. We'll play the audio for you right now.
Ooh.
I lost my best friend. Like, everything I knew switched in a night. And I couldn't control that. So I had to deal with that, and that's not easy for me to understand or interpret. Mm-hmm. And it's not easy to interpret on camera, not with the world watching. Mm-hmm. I felt like the only person they hate right now is him. It was a very confusing space to be in. He was angry as I was.
Oprah looks on sympathetically.
And betrayed. I just felt like he made that mistake because he needed help, and like, who's gonna help him? Nobody's gonna say he needs help. Everybody's gonna say he's a monster.
Yeah,
that sounds like a battered woman to me, doesn't it?
Yeah.
I was more concerned about him.
Okay, maybe he does need help. Obviously,
I'm sure he
he's
does.
got some
If you're
problems.
like viciously beating women in your car, you have a problem.
It drives me insane that he still has a career. I cannot believe he beat the shit out of her. This wasn't just like slap a bitch bullshit, which of course I don't condone either. But he pummeled her repeatedly with a balled up fist in her face.
This is just the culture we have now. You realize that doing anything, no matter how bad it is, just makes you a bigger celebrity.
Well, it depends on who you are. If you're a political figure, if you're a talk show host or something and you make some sort of gaffe, that can end your career. But if you're a pop star, apparently you can do whatever the fuck you want. You can beat a woman bloody and you're fine. I just can't believe it. And I remember when it happened, there was Twitter posts from idiot female fans like, he could beat me up anytime. Like, all right, you deserve to get the shit kicked out of you, then, you idiot. It's just so irritating to me that people give this fucker a pass. And her, obviously, she's completely fucked up emotionally about this. And the idea that she is still working with him professionally and they still see each other, I find very sad and disturbing. It's just, somebody needs to kick the shit out of him. Maybe I'll feel
about the
better
confrontation that happened, right?
Oh, with Drake.
And Tony Parker was there, point guard of the San Antonio Spurs.
Really?
When they were throwing bottles around.
Yeah, I heard about that.
He got some glass in his eye.
Yeah.
Didn't play in the Olympics for France. Yeah. That's the real cost of domestic violence right there. Also, she's from Barbados. I'd never heard her speak before.
Yeah.
And she definitely has, like, the Caribbean accent, doesn't she? Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. She's, by all accounts, fairly intelligent, so hopefully she'll figure out that he's a dick and not have anything else to do with him ever again. That's the one thing to me. There's certain things, certain ways you can act out. You can be emotionally disturbed, have some sort of problems, and you fuck up. And I'm willing to give you the benefit of the doubt. But when you get to the point where you beat a woman, you got a major problem.
Well, that's just like the thing you're not supposed to do ever for any reason.
You should be a pariah for the rest of your life once you do that.
Yeah. Or at least for like a couple months.
Yeah.
Not just become like, not so long afterwards, just releasing more records that are even more popular than the ones you were releasing before. Yeah. It doesn't seem like quite the adequate punishment for that.
Yeah. What kind of fallout did he ever receive from that? He got a little bit of bad press, and now he's fine. Yeah. And she's fine with him, apparently.
It's strange, isn't it?
Yeah.
But I think when it happened, the reaction was sort of like, wow, that's it for his career. Because I think we were still looking at it from a framework of years ago where
From logic,
or just
or
like
morality,
or just like some sort of level of civility to be like, well, you can't do that. But apparently not. Apparently you can just do anything. And
I'm just going to take the opportunity right now to say, fuck you, Chris Brown. Oh, you want to step up to me, huh? Why don't you try picking on somebody your own size?
Chris Brown, you can come up to Bellingham, you head straight to Bumtown.
Yep.
You know where to find him.
I think I could kick his ass.
I don't know. You don't know. Maybe he has some martial arts training.
I don't know. As long as he doesn't bring his entourage with him.
But he always has his entourage with him.
Okay, Chris Brown, it's not going to be you and all your giant 350-pound bodyguards. It's going to be you and me.
Or Drake can come and back you up.
Yeah, but then he'd have to have a second as well.
This is getting really complicated.
Okay, well, whatever. All right, this has been Celebrity Minute on the Warren and Bradley Show.
This has been Celebrity Minute on the Warren and Bradley Show.
All right, so as I was saying earlier, my demeanor has improved. I've been in a little bit more of a better mood, not as cynical about people, able to enjoy their foibles a little more, but in spite of my best efforts, I've still had the crazy homeless people yelling at me. And then I also had a nice interaction the other day. I was driving with my brother because he was giving me rides to work because I didn't have a car. And, I was smoking in his vehicle. And as most people do when they're smoking a cigarette in a car, they flick the ash out the window.
Yeah.
You don't throw the cigarette out the window.
No.
Well, at least not if there's a cop behind you. Mm-hmm. But, you flick the ash. And when you flick ash out of a window, maybe 2 or 3 little flakes of ash fall to the ground, and they pretty much disappear and disintegrate. It's not a major littering problem.
It's not something you hear about in, like, public service announcements, people being like, use your ashtray, don't put the ash outside.
Right.
They're mostly worried about the butts being disposed of.
And then maybe causing fires or things
causing
like that.
fires, and the butts because they don't break down very quickly, so they end up being around for a while.
But I could flick ash onto a bucket of gasoline and it wouldn't light. There's nothing burning there.
It's nothing burning, and it's just ash, so it just disappears.
So anyway, I wasn't doing anything wrong.
No.
I was just minding my own business. Suddenly, a morbidly obese woman in an SUV pulls up alongside us at a light and goes, "Use a fucking ashtray!" and screams it at me. And then I'm like, "Oh!" And then she goes, "Ah!" and peels out and like peels in front of us.
Whoa.
And like dodges through the other traffic. Oh, this is an angry woman. And now, of course, we could just laugh about it, be like, "Ha, what an idiot."
Let it go.
But I can't let that go. That's ridiculous.
No.
So I'm egging my brother on to get up behind her. And so we go in this like high-speed chase through the streets of Ferndale, the city to the north.
Well, what is the point of this? How's this going to end?
Because I wanted to yell at her. And so we finally get up behind her. I can't tell if she can see me in her rearview mirror or not. I'm pretty sure she's probably aware of the fact that we were like trying to get behind her. And so I did the most blatant flipping off I could possibly do, where I was like leaned my whole body out the window and was like waving until I saw that she looked out the rearview mirror, and then I gave her the like cross swords crazy flip off, and then again waved at her, and then like just flipping her off with as much.
To make sure she knew.
And she went and peeled away and just like drove like a crazy person, almost ran a red light. And my initial thought, first of all, was why the fuck was she so pissed off? And second, why would a morbidly obese middle-aged woman start yelling things to two men who are obviously construction workers in a Jeep, two strapping young lads?
One strapping, one sickly looking.
Well, maybe. If you were a fat middle-aged woman and you saw me in my construction gear with my brother in his construction gear and we were driving around in a Jeep Cherokee, would you yell things at us out of your car?
No, I don't yell at anyone, though.
Well, so, just put yourself in that mindset, though. You're bitter and angry. You popped out a couple kids. Your husband's an asshole. But you should pick your battles. You should yell at people who aren't going to conceivably,
attack you?
Well, we weren't going to attack her. I just talked about how violence against women is inappropriate, but yelling at women is perfectly fine.
But this is the thing. It's the smokers are the target, though, now, right?
Well, yeah.
They're the new, black men or Irishmen. You know what I mean? It goes back for years. There's always some target that you're allowed to pick on.
Yeah.
And now it's smokers, and you're allowed to just be disrespectful and mean to them and scream at them from your car.
Yeah.
Why not? There's segregated facilities. It's like Jim Crow, but for smokers, right? It's like, get away from this door. You have your own special little area where you can't be mixed with the other people because you smell bad.
Overcome.
And it's all sanctioned by the government, so she felt like justified in yelling anything at you.
But I can understand. I mean, I still think it's ridiculous if people are like, oh my God, if you're smoking.
Yeah.
But I can sort of understand, okay, they're smelling the smoke, and apparently that's become the worst thing in the world that anyone can ever be subjected to. But what fucking harm or what problem is caused by a little bit of ash being flicked onto the street?
Well, you're a smoker.
Yeah, I guess. So you think it was just the fact that I'm a smoker she had to yell at me. But does she do this to every person she sees smoking?
I think there are people that do that.
Yeah.
They're just so angry that you're, like, violating the world by doing that, and so they just yell at people about it.
You are right, though. It is the one group that you're allowed to just be completely disrespectful to. You can just swear at them, you can yell at them, you can completely degrade them, and it's fine. It's completely sanctioned by the government, it's sanctioned by society. I'll have people go out of their way to walk up to me while I'm completely separated from everyone, because I do try to be considerate, knowing that people are going to get freaked out. I'll go step quite a ways away from any group of people and light up a cigarette, and people will go out of their way to come up to me and complain about me smoking, even though where they were previously, they couldn't smell the smoke. It wasn't bothering them at all. I don't go up to morbidly obese middle-aged women in SUVs and bitch at them about the heart attack they're about to have, I don't feel justified in doing that, but they feel completely justified in bitching at me. The other thing that was sort of disturbing that happened this week, as I mentioned, I think on last week's episode, I've started playing the popular game Minecraft.
Oh, yes.
As usual, I'm like 2 years behind everything.
Yeah.
There's something that'll become this like huge internet meme or some viral video or something. And
You're sort of the Midwest of Bellingham.
Maybe.
Here.
I don't hear about it for a while, and then I find out, and I'm like, hey, everybody. I'm like, oh, that was like 2 months ago, you idiot. I'm like, oh.
Yeah.
But anyway, I've gotten into Minecraft, and I've been sculpting castles and mining and building and smelting ores and things like that. I can very easily get obsessed with weird shit like that. I used to play the Sims computer game and would just make houses for hours and hours at a time.
It's very productive.
Yeah. It's a creative outlet. And anyway, I was late one night building my castle. I was trying to get the little towers in the corner perfect.
No, sure.
I was in a precarious position, and I had just mined a lot of cobblestone. And I don't want to get into
it's obviously very complicated to mine cobblestone in a video game.
Yes. Yeah. And I had smelted much of it into smooth stone, and I was using this to face the outside of my tower.
Sure.
When, lo and behold, IT guy John enters my game.
Yeah.
Because it's on Xbox Live. You can enter into your friend's game and go into their world and check things out.
Yeah.
So I'm like, oh, IT Guy John. The listeners know IT Guy John is the hardworking, ever on the ball information technologies master of the Warren and Bradley Show.
Yes.
If we ever have any problems with the website, he's right there on the ball. But this time, I tried to send him a chat request. It's like, okay, let's chat. You can come into my game. He refused the chat request.
Oh my!
It's like, what's going on? What's going on with IT Guy John? I'm like, okay, I don't know what he's doing. He's running around in my world. He could be stealing my resources. He could be, like, destroying, killing my cows, riding my pigs, molesting my sheep. I have no idea what's going on. But I'm like, okay, it's IT Guy John. What's the worst that could happen?
There's no ill will between you and IT Guy John.
Not that I know of.
No, well.
Or at least not as far as I knew.
Yeah.
So I just continue building my tower.
Yeah.
And I'm out on this precarious ledge, and my castle is built on a high mountain.
Oh, yeah.
Prime real estate in the game. And lo and behold, IT Guy John comes up behind me. He has a sword, so obviously he had stolen some of my iron from my world and smelted himself a sword. Comes up behind and just kills me. Kills me dead. I fall to the ground, my inventory goes everywhere, and so then I'm faced with a dilemma. If I reload my game or respawn, I could lose all my inventory because it was scattered to the high winds.
Yeah.
But if I don't respawn, I will lose all the progress I've made on my castle. Hours of backbreaking, painstaking work. So I just had to turn off the game. Lost all the progress I'd made on my castle.
And did you talk to IT John about this?
I tried to text IT Guy John. He would not respond.
Interesting.
Is there some sort of... he's turned into like an online menace. I don't know what's going on.
Well, he's a cyberbully.
Maybe
apparently.
he is. He's bullying me.
I read about this in Time Magazine.
Yeah.
He's one of them cyberbullies.
Yeah.
And I don't like it. And just like that...
He's going to drive me to suicide
It's,
eventually.
well, it's like the cheerleaders, right, in Texas. Didn't they cyberbully that girl into killing herself?
No, it's like the gay guy that jumped off the bridge.
Oh, that's right, the guy in New Jersey.
Yeah.
It's just like that.
He's going to take video of me playing Minecraft and put it on the internet, and then I'm going to get so upset that I'm going to jump off a bridge and kill myself.
Or just jump out of your window and die in the streets of Bumtown.
That's perhaps possible.
I hope that doesn't happen, but you know what? It's just about there right now.
No, this is not characteristic of IT Guy John.
I'd like to see IT Guy John respond to this.
Well, if you think about it, he probably thought it was hilarious. And if you think about it, it actually is, I guess. Because there's
That's what you're doing is absurd.
I'm not 14 years old,
No.
I'm sitting there for hours making a castle, and he came and killed
Well,
me.
the strange part is the fact that you labor away all day building things, and then come home and turn on a video game and start
Building
doing manual labor on a video game.
Yeah.
It's weird.
That is kind of weird. Well, if IT Guy John is listening, and I know he probably is, what the fuck?
We need a response to
Jesus
this.
Christ, right into podcast at WarrenBradley.com.
I don't want to see this just become the Warren show next week.
No, I know.
Because it's difficult because I don't know how to work the computer.
Well, this could escalate into a huge feud.
Then it definitely will be on tape because that'll be the only way I know how to record the show.
You with one of those Fisher-Price things
Yes,
with the
exactly.
microphone. So I've always been obsessed with the idea of our close cousins, the Neanderthal.
Oh, yeah.
I say Neanderthal because that's the pretentious way of saying it.
Yeah.
I think that's
like
the way you're...
Niger and stuff
you're
like
supposed
that.
to say Neanderthal, I think.
Well, you're not supposed to say anything. It just depends on what is used by people.
Whenever I watch a nature show and there's some German guy talking about them, he goes, yes, the Neanderthal. And so that's what I say.
Well, that's fine.
But anyway, I've always been obsessed about what happened to them. Did they interbreed with humans? Because that was one of the theories, is that they had done the Neanderthal genome. This is going to get very technical and interesting for everyone listening.
I'm sure.
And apparently Europeans and Asians share between 1% and 4% of our DNA.
I've
with
heard
the
this too,
Neanderthal.
yeah.
And so the theory was that humans didn't just slaughter all the Neanderthals, modern humans, that they might have interbred with them and just bred them out of existence. But now a recent study has come out from, I believe, the University of Cambridge, which says that basically they think that any shared DNA that Europeans or Asians have with Neanderthal was just a result of our shared ancestor. So basically they're saying that it doesn't look like hybridization occurred, but they can't prove conclusively that it didn't occur. Yeah. And I'm just wondering, I've always thought, okay, we don't know exactly what they look like, but we do know they were shorter.
Yeah.
They were more robust. They had heavy brow ridges. They probably weren't hairy all over. We're not sure, but they probably weren't. But, you know, if you saw a Neanderthal guy walking around, I think you would know that it wasn't...
Oh, yeah, you'd know. There was something wrong with him.
So imagine, Warren, it's 40,000 years ago.
Yeah, let's go back in the Wayback Machine.
You're in a group of hunter-gatherers living in, let's say, near Gibraltar.
Oh.
And that was one of the last vestiges of where the Neanderthals were still alive in Europe. And you're hunting around. You've got more sophisticated technology. You have spear throwers. You haven't developed the bow and arrow yet, but, you know, you're taking down large game. You're working together.
Oh, yeah, all these things.
And you come across a band of Neanderthals. And,
Yum.
you know, in your group, the women have all gotten some disease and died or something. And you notice these Neanderthal women, they're kind of lumpy, kind of short, kind of humpy. Maybe some unibrows going on there, maybe a little mustache.
But
are you
they
thinking,
are females.
Are you thinking they look pretty good? Are you thinking... and I mean, where is your mentality at that point in history? Are you like, would you even think that they weren't human? Because I think people are really good at citing difference.
Yeah.
You know? I think just instinctually you would see these Neanderthals walking around and you would know, okay, that is not me.
That being
but
said,
would you still tap that ass? That's what I'm trying to ask.
That sex drive is pretty powerful, and especially if you're a primitive man and you haven't been around any females.
Yeah.
You see a Neanderthal female.
Hello.
Exactly, but you're like, hey, that's my only option right now. So that's what I would go for it.
We've discussed this before, where if we were in prison, your only option is to have anal sex with other prisoners.
Yeah.
And I would not go for that option. I would just not have sex.
But this is the thing. You're a modern human.
Yeah.
You're not thinking in the same way I am back here 40,000 years ago.
They're modern humans, evolutionarily.
This is the thing. If I did have intercourse with this Neanderthal woman, would it be able to produce offspring?
That's what they think probably they could. But who knows if it would be...
This is the thing. I think if it could have happened, it was happening.
Really?
So I feel like that... Well, the only thing... I'm sure the Neanderthal males would be like, try to fight me off. But of course, I have better technology. I'd just be like, get out of my way. You know what I mean?
I don't know. They're buff. They're strong.
Buff, but it's like, I'm using my brain.
Yeah.
And they're using their brawn. And my brain's going to...
Well, actually, their brains were bigger than ours.
Yeah, but mine's better.
Yeah. Apparently, they had more, like, instinctual racial memory than we did.
Yeah, they got that stuff. But I've got these great...
But they said they even
iPod,
had graves, they had burial ceremonies and things like that.
Oh, well, la-di-da. That's what as I'm, like, killing them with my advanced spear, I'm going to be like, that's a nice grave you made. Wow. I'm really impressed. Now I'm going to have sex with your woman.
So you would tap that ass?
Probably. I imagine so. It's also true that there could have been some stigma around it, right?
I don't know.
It could have been like an incest type stigma around having sex with Neanderthal.
If women. I were in charge of our group of hunter-gatherers and the young men were out and they had captured some Neanderthal women and brought them back to camp, I would not put my seal of approval on them for
No, you wouldn't. But the other thing is, like, you would probably be out looking for women, though, right?
Yeah.
And let's say it was going on for a long time. And you're leading this tribe, and the men are like, buddy, come on now. We have got to spread our seed here. And you're like, I'm doing everything I can. And finally you stumble upon some Neanderthal woman.
So Harry over there is better than nothing?
I'm pretty sure you're going to be like, well, we'll go for it.
But if the point of fornicating is to produce offspring, I don't know if those hybrid offspring would be sterile, perhaps. Because the theory is that it's
like
theoretically possible, to even breed with chimpanzees.
No, come on now.
People have said that it's perhaps possible if enough people tried. I just don't think a lot of people are lining up having sex with these chimp.
Well, that's one
chicks.
of the science things that, like, of course, everyone's like, wow, that is super interesting.
Yeah.
We should do that. But you can't. You're not allowed to do it.
Not
in the sense that you want to have sex with a chimp, but in the sense that you'd want to, like, artificially...
Force people to have sex with
force people to have sex with a chimp and then tape it. No, you'd want to, take a turkey baster and try to impregnate a chimp and then see what came out.
And get this weird...
Yeah.
Kill me.
I don't know. I think I can only think of myself in terms of my own life now. And there have been plenty of times where I've been out at a bar and looking around and all the women I see look as though they perhaps are Neanderthals, and I don't want to have sex with any of them.
But I'll say this to you right now.
Yes.
If you had been off in Gibraltar with no one around for like 10 years and not been around a woman at all, and then were transported magically to this bar and saw these, like, maybe less than, A+ women around, you would be in heaven.
But that's still not interspecies, though. That's the thing. That's what worries me.
It depends.
Well, yeah. I don't know. It's an interesting question, because you do have to think about the fact that at that time there were so few people. You could probably go your whole life with hardly ever seeing a stranger, Like, you would be around...
But there are women in your group that you would have sex with.
Yeah, but I think... there must have been some sort of gathering of different groups of
they
people
swap out.
where they would
I'm sure they
swap out.
have some, like, meeting, right? And they get together and they're like, now you give me some of your grain or whatever you got, or some bones or whatever you got. And they like, all right, you can have my daughter. And then they take the daughter away, and she goes with the tribe off with them and has
because they
babies.
can't keep interbreeding, or else they'll have Mormons on your hands.
No, they must have. Oh man, they must have had some sort of, like, communication with other tribes.
But do you think the Neanderthals came to those little gatherings? Were they?
No.
First of all, I don't know if modern humans were just slaughtering every Neanderthal they saw because they're like, ugh, look at these freaks, or if they were just kind of like, leave those alone, or if maybe the Neanderthals would be like, hello. They'd come to the little gathering, and the Neanderthal women's and their, like, fur halter tops and stuff.
Well, the extinction of the Neanderthals did this. happened gradually, right?
Yeah, but it was fairly soon, because they were around for a long time in Europe, and then pretty quickly after modern humans started coming out of Africa into Europe, they didn't last that much longer. I mean,
so was there was some period there was like a war between
that's what they don't know,
because that's the thing. Then it wouldn't have happened if it was like suddenly they break through the Alps or something. Here's the modern humans coming through, and they're like, look at these assholes.
Yeah.
These unibrowed motherfuckers. They're like, take them out. We don't want any of these guys around, and just kill them all as quickly as possible.
I don't know.
Then I don't think there'd be any like mixing. But if they were like hanging out for thousands of years, sort of like around each other and stuff, there must have been some.
I think there was an overlap for several thousand years.
It's probably like a Romeo and Juliet situations, right? And they're like, you can't be with him. He's a human. And she's like, but I love him, Daddy. And then they like wander off, you know. Those things probably happen.
Well, we've all seen Clan of the Cave Bear.
What?
You know, with Daryl Hannah. She
No.
was a modern human. She got raised by Neanderthals.
What?
You've never seen this movie?
No. How was she
kidding me?
modern? This is like supposed to be set thousands of years ago?
Yeah, it was set during that time period.
And like her parents are killed, the Neanderthals like raise her?
Yeah.
What the fuck? They made this into a movie?
Yeah.
Was there any like talking during the movie?
There's grunting.
This is real?
Yeah.
How could anyone watch that? Why would anyone watch
Well,
that?
it's really bad, but yeah.
Huh, that's a
exists.
weird premise.
Have you ever read those books? They're awful.
There's books based on this?
Well, the movie's based on the book.
About a human that
The
was
whole
raised?
series. Yeah. It's horrible.
Oh, it sounds terrible. I prefer my movie where it's like we're just like we go for a hike
There's some
later this
Neanderthals.
afternoon, and there's like Neanderthals out there, and we have to fight them for a while.
And fuck them.
Well, maybe if there's any pretty ones.
But in the movie, she was having sex with Neanderthals the whole time. But
Jim
the
Baby?
Neanderthals were very aggressive sexually. They would just bend her over and have their way with her.
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
This shocks you that they're not like very couth or anything.
Well,
I mean,
but
they're
we don't
like
know. I mean, they might have been very friendly.
oh
happy
yeah, I'm sure
people.
they're very civil in all the things they did. They're just.
So you're being specious.
I just know that I'm familiar with humans. I'm familiar with creatures that aren't humans, and
Well, and humans are pretty goddamn aggressive too. So
they're pretty aggressive, but they're not nearly as aggressive as animals.
Yeah.
So I imagine it's somewhere like they're much more aggressive than us. So I imagine they wouldn't be like asking for Daryl Hannah's consent necessarily.
No,
They
I
just
think
take
they
advantage
were.
of it.
You know, they had religion.
I know
of
they
some
had their
sort.
graves. They buried them.
They buried
put,
people
like a stone on top
They
of it.
worship cave bears. That's why
Oh,
they're
there's
Clan
cave
of the
bears. That's
Bear.
right. Yeah.
I don't know. So you would have sex with the Neanderthal. That's what we've established.
Probably earlier, it would probably be more likely. As things went on later and they were sort of dying out, probably not.
So you got to get your Neanderthal coos while you can.
Well, yeah, and it's just like awkward to be like a band of like the last few Neanderthals are like
Hey, you're
wandering
bringing your
around, you're
girlfriend
like,
to the fire
Yeah.
tonight, and like, ugh. God, I hope not. Like,
She's so aggressive, but she does bury her dead at least. That's good.
yeah, you're a sicko.
This has been the Warren and Bradley Show, brought to you by Warren Van and Bradley Victor. For podcast news and information, like the show on Facebook at facebook.com/Warren and Bradley. Follow the show on Twitter at Warren and Brad. Subscribe on iTunes and leave a review. For episode archives and episode pictures, go to warrenandbradley.com, and to contact the show, write to podcast at warrenandbradley.com. The views expressed on the Warren and Bradley Show are not necessarily those held by the hosts, Warren and Bradley, nor those of the proprietors of the website, warrenandbradley.com.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1, fire!
Let's make some magic.
Hello, it is magic time. Welcome once again to the Warren and Bradley Show. I'm one of your hosts, Bradley Victor.
I'm the other host, Warren Van.
It's currently 65 degrees and cloudy in Bellingham, Washington.
Is that true?
Yeah, I just looked at the weather.
It is cloudy, I know, and it's refreshingly cool, actually.
I'm refreshed by the coolness because this week it's been so fucking hell hot, and I have to work outside, and I've sweated probably like 20 pounds of weight off of me. Well, probably not. I wouldn't exist if I had sweated that much weight off. But so I was looking forward to a little cool down around, but not on the weekends when I want to go swimming.
Yeah.
It's my whole...
raison d'etre?
Yes. Thank you very much.
No problem.
Fucking pretentious asshole. And it's not like I'm holding a grudge, but why bother pretending?
Yeah.
You know? I'm just sick of that.
Doesn't serve any purpose
And I
for you.
wasn't angry at him.
No.
I just explained to him the way it is. I was perfectly fine with it. And yeah, I was in a fine mood and I wandered off. And then a little bit later, I was in the bagelry again. And I ran into this girl who... very attractive, and I went out with her once, and it was that thing we discussed before, I think, in one of our That's How Women Are segments, where, you know, the whole, like, hey, this is great, we're having a great time,
Yeah.
and then you're like, all right, well, let's hang out again. And they're like, oh, yes, of course. And then even, like, make plans, sort of,
Yeah.
to hang out again, and then, of course, you do the whole, hey, so let's do that thing we
Yeah.
mentioned, and then they never call you back or respond to the messages. And so, of course, in her mind, that was probably this horribly awkward thing.
She felt like she was going to be treated the way you treated the other guy, probably.
Maybe.
Yeah.
So she probably ascribed to me a certain amount of embarrassment and of course, like, I would have probably liked to see her again, but it's not
Yeah.
the end of the world kind of thing. And if someone behaves in that way, my response, which again, I don't think is normal, is to be overly friendly and gregarious.
Yes.
And maybe it's in a kind of spiteful way. I'm not sure exactly.
Yeah. I'm just trying to compensate for it. your
Yeah,
feelings.
but it's almost like I'm trying to rub their nose in it or something
The
without
other thing
even
is you're
knowing it.
taking all the power away from them because
Yeah.
they think they've done something to you and they think you should feel bad about it. You're
Right.
like, you didn't do anything to me.
Right.
I'm fine. Brad's fine.
I'm not really. But no, I ran into her and she kind of saw me and again,
Yeah.
like, gave me that look. Like, oh no, what's going to happen? Is it going to be awkward? And I was just like, hey, how's it going? Oh yeah, this weather. And like talking and just completely being way more charming than I normally am.
Yeah.
And she was just completely confused and nonplussed. It's like, hey, you take care. And then I went and got my bagel. When I'm in a good mood, I'm able to manipulate social interactions way better than I'm not completely held captive by my own angst all
Yes.
the time, you know? Yeah, so I think I'm capable of using social interactions as almost a sort of anthropological study to just see how people react to certain things, and I'm not affected by it in any way. It's kind of cool.
You're a little bit more detached.
Yeah.
Yeah, not so angry.
Detached is good.
Yeah.
I was also pissed off today because I tried to go to the grocery store, and I keep forgetting this bullshit. In Bellingham, we have passed a plastic bag ban.
Yes.
In Bellingham, because I don't know why. I don't know why a city government can force businesses not to provide something for customers. How does that have anything to do with government?
Saving the earth.
How can you tell private businesses you can? Because I haven't had a car lately, and I finally got a vehicle again now. I'm like, all right, now I'm going to go to the lake. I'm going to hang out, get my amphibian boy plans off the ground, which were dashed a few weeks ago. And now, of course, as soon as I have a vehicle, the weather turns to shit. But weather cloudy, 65 degrees.
I mean, it's nice. I find it kind of... I'm feeling good. I slept longer this morning than I have been recently
You weren't
because the
woken
heat...
by the sun.
The sun beats down on me, and also I have a hard time sleeping when it's so hot.
Oh yeah, because you live in that weird greenhouse, basically.
My bedroom is sort of like just sort of attached. It's like a shack to the side of the house,
Yeah.
so it's not insulated or anything. It just has a bunch of windows, so it gets extremely cold during the winter and extremely hot during the
Yeah.
summer. So it can be a little bit of a problem because it starts getting really hot really early as soon as the sun comes up.
It's one thing that LA taught me is that heat is the absolute worst when you're trying to sleep, because you'll have trouble falling asleep because you're all sweaty and gross, but then once you do fall asleep, it's like you're in a coma, some weird heat
Yeah.
coma, and you can't wake up, you're just all groggy and
You don't
fucked
get
up.
your sleep isn't that deep usually. Yeah.
I've been in a little better mood lately because I now have a vehicle again.
You do.
The disposition has turned a little sunny as the weather's turned gray. There's been all these interactions, and it's interesting to see how my demeanor has changed and the way I deal with things as opposed to when I'm in a bad mood. For instance, yesterday I had 2 separate social interactions, and it kind of highlights how I don't behave normally, perhaps, compared to other people.
Yeah.
Because I ran into this one guy who I vehemently dislike.
Oh.
And there are not a lot of people who I really,
Yeah.
really, really dislike. And I won't say I hate anybody. I don't think I'll ever go that far.
Yeah.
But it's this fucking dick. And there was all this history in the past of bullshit that he pulled and everything. And he's just kind of the sleazy, weaselly little fucker. And I won't mention any names. But we had a falling out where he did something that I did not approve of several years ago, and I called him on it. And so I saw him the other day, or yesterday, and he was walking towards me, and he sort of went, oh, when he saw me, and I just looked at him, and he came up and tried to give me this,
Hey, what's going on? Hey, it's been a long time.
no, don't bother. He's like, what? What do you mean? It's like, I thought I explained to you perfectly well that I want nothing to do with you. Why should I pretend to be cool with you when I'm not? Why should I subject myself to this ridiculous, inane, fake social interaction with you? Just go away. I don't need to talk to you. And he, of course, was just like nonplussed. And I went, do and walked on my way.
He seemed to just blow over eventually.